Sarah, no last name, just the girl who has been up since 3:47 a.m., making practice pancakes, slicing strawberries into tiny hearts with shaking fingers, and changing outfits 7 times before settling on the one thing she knows works. Stands on Mark's porch at 8:37 a.m. with a breakfast tray that is basically a love letter written entirely in food. The tray is obscene. 4 different kinds of pancakes, buttermilk, blueberry, chocolate chip, and banana nut, still sizzling in a tiny cast iron skillet because she remembered he once said they were his mom's favorite. Strawberries sliced with a cookie cutter into perfect little hearts and arranged in the shape of one giant heart. Fresh whipped cream piped into delicate rosettes, warm maple syrup in a glass pitcher, Greek yogurt swirled with honey and topped with granola, 2 mugs of coffee, his with exactly 2 sugars and a splash of oat milk, hers black because her stomach is too full of butterflies to handle anything else, and a single red rose in a bud vase she stole from her mom's dining room table at 5 a.m. She's wearing his cream hoodie, the one she's had since she was 16 and forgot to return because it smelled like cedar and safety and him, soft gray lounge shorts that are definitely shorter than yesterday's, penguin fuzzy socks because they make him laugh, and her hair is down in loose waves that took an hour, 3 different curling irons, and a small existential crisis to get right. Bare legs in 42-degree weather, goosebumps racing up her thighs, heart beating so hard she's surprised the tray isn't rattling like a maraca. You guys, part 2 is happening right now, and I am one deep breath away from either levitating or having a full cardiac event. I'm Sarah, exactly 36 hours and 37 minutes into being 18, still floating from yesterday's "I just brought you breakfast" that turned into 6 straight hours of talking on his couch until the stars came out and he walked me home holding my hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. I have been awake since 3:47 a.m., making this ridiculous tray like my entire future depends on perfectly symmetrical strawberry hearts, because it kinda does. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, comment, "Second morning" if you've ever shown up somewhere with your whole soul on a platter and prayed they were hungry too. Let's go. I knock. 3 soft, terrified, hopeful taps. Silence. 5 seconds. 10. 15. Every second feels like a year off my life. I picture him inside, seeing the peephole silhouette of a girl, holding an entire bakery, and deciding whether yesterday was a beautiful mistake. I picture him pretending he's not home. I picture myself walking back down the driveway in slow-motion shame with a tray full of broken hearts, literal and metaphorical. I'm literally turning to flee, full tragic movie exit activated, when the door flies open so fast it almost hits the wall. Mark is there, hair still dripping from the shower, eyes wild and soft and sleep-rumpled, wearing nothing but low-slung gray sweatpants and a black t-shirt that clings to damp skin. He looks like he just sprinted from the bathroom when he heard the knock. For one frozen heartbeat, he just stares at me, at the tray, at the rose, at the way the hoodie has slipped completely off my shoulder and is barely hanging on by hope and static cling. Then the biggest, warmest, most relieved smile in the history of smiles breaks across his face like sunrise. "Sarah? Again?" he says, voice rough with sleep and wonder and something that sounds exactly like "I've been waiting for you since the second you left yesterday." He rubs the back of his neck, steps aside, and the doorway feels like it's been holding its breath for 24 hours. I don't speak. I physically can't. I just walk straight past him into the house, like I've done it every morning of my life, tray trembling with every heartbeat, and head for the kitchen like I'm on a divine mission. I hear the door shut behind me, and it sounds like the final lock sliding home on the rest of my life. I set the tray on the exact same spot on the counter as yesterday, only this time I arranged everything with shaking, obsessive, lovesick precision. I step back, tug the hoodie sleeve so it falls completely off my shoulder, on purpose, and finally look at him. He hasn't moved from the doorway. He's just staring like he's trying to memorize every detail before it disappears. "Sarah," he says, soft, careful, like my name is the most precious thing he's ever been trusted with. "You didn't have to do all this." I step closer, 1 step, 2, 3, until I'm close enough to see the tiny droplets of water still clinging to his hair, the way his pulse is hammering at the base of his throat, the faint scar on his collarbone I've memorized from across backyards and bonfires and 2 years of pretending I wasn't looking. "I know," I whisper, and my voice cracks so hard I almost laugh. "I know I didn't have to, but I wanted to, I needed to. Because yesterday you never asked why I really came over. You just let me stay. You let me talk until my voice gave out and the sky turned pink and purple, and you held my hand the whole walk home like you were scared I'd float away if you let go. And I went to bed smiling so hard my cheeks hurt, and then I woke up at 3 a.m. in full panic, because what if that was it? What if any time was just you being kind? What if I never get another morning of you looking at me like I'm the best surprise you've ever had? His eyes darken, soften, never leave mine. I take the final step. We're so close my forehead almost brushes his chest. I came back, I say, voice shaking but sure, because when you said any time, I heard, please come back tomorrow and every tomorrow after that until we run out of tomorrows. Because I'm 18 now, Mark, and I have spent 2 entire years pretending I only borrowed your hoodie because I was cold, when we both know I just wanted to fall asleep wrapped in something that smelled like you. I'm done pretending. I'm done waiting for a better excuse than the truth. The truth is, I want to bring you breakfast every single morning for the rest of my life, if you'll let me. The truth is, I want to be the reason you smile like that when you open the door. The truth is, he makes this sound, half exhale, half broken laugh, all surrender, and closes the distance in one stride. His hands come up to cup my face so gently it wrecks me completely. Thumbs brushing my cheeks like he's checking I'm real, like he's scared this is the dream, and he's the one who's going to wake up alone. Sarah, he whispers, forehead dropping to mine, eyes closed like he's been carrying these words for years, and they're finally allowed out. I was standing at this exact door at 6:12 a.m. hoping you'd knock, then 6:47, then 7:29, then 8:03. I showered 4 separate times because I kept panicking I'd missed you. I didn't sleep. I kept walking past this counter thinking about how your laugh filled the whole house yesterday and how hollow it felt when you left. I was terrified you'd decide once was enough. I was terrified you'd realize you deserve someone who doesn't have to check the calendar every time he wants to hold your hand. My heart stops, restarts, explodes into a million pieces, and somehow still keeps beating. I laugh, and it comes out wet and shaky and perfect. He laughs too, soft, relieved, and pulls me into him, arms wrapping around me like he's been waiting his entire life to do this without an excuse. I bury my face in his chest and breathe him in, cedar and coffee and safety and home, and it's better than every fantasy I've had since I was 16. We stay like that for a long, long, long time. Long enough for the coffee to go completely cold. Long enough for the whipped cream to melt into sad little puddles. Long enough for yesterday's any time to turn into today's always, without either of us needing to say another word. Eventually he pulls back just far enough to look at me, hands still framing my face, eyes shining with something that looks exactly like the rest of my life. Coffee's cold, he says, grinning like it's the best news in the world. I grin back, teary and fearless, and so in love it hurts. Good thing we have all morning, and all the mornings after that, to heat it up. He kisses my forehead, slow, deliberate, like sealing a vow, then my temple, then the tip of my nose, then finally, pulls out the same 2 stools from yesterday. We sit knee to knee, hip to hip, thigh to thigh, sharing pancakes and feeding each other strawberries straight from our fingers, laughing when syrup gets on his chin and I kiss it off, talking and teasing and crying a little, and letting the space between us disappear entirely while the sun climbs higher and higher and the tray slowly empties and our hearts slowly overflow. Breakfast still isn't the point. It never was. Sarah winks at the camera, phone propped on the counter, red light glowing, hoodie now completely slipped off one shoulder and never, ever going back up. And that's the full, uncut, director's cut, no stone unturned part 2 of bringing him breakfast wearing this. Some mornings you don't bring food, you bring your whole future on a tray and pray he's ready to eat forever. Some doors you knock on twice, the second time with tears in your eyes and every tomorrow in your hands. Like subscribe, ring the bell, comment, second morning if you've ever stood on someone's porch knowing you weren't leaving the same person you arrived as. Just turned 18. Just came back, and he was already standing there hoping, praying, waiting for me to be brave enough to stay. Forever.